On this episode, I'm thrilled to be joined by the Premier League's youngest captain, a key member of the current England squad and one of the game's biggest characters. England and West Ham midfielder Declan Rice. Dec, thanks for joining us, mate.
All good.
As with all of our guests, we asked him, what was it like at the start for a young Declan Rice?
Yeah, just addicted to football.
Yeah.
From the moment I could walk, literally always in the garden with my older brothers and just kicking the ball around.
Chelsea fans, your family, you know, it's been well documented. You joined the academy at Chelsea at the age of 7. What was that like going into a pro club at that age?
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't really understand it, to be honest with you, at the start. Like, it all started, I was training at the development centre on, like, Friday nights.
Right.
In a dome with, like, a load of other different lads. It only started as, like, a development
in
thing
Cobham,
at the
or?
start. Yeah, in Cobham, yeah. Right. And then I was actually signed for Chelsea when I was 8. I remember I'd been offered a trial, and then at the end of the 6-week trial, we played Swindon, and I got offered the contract after the Swindon game. And I think I signed during that week. I didn't really understand it. Like, obviously, I was only so young, but I knew I'd gone from doing nothing, basically, to then going to play for Chelsea, and it was like, what's going on here?
You got into a team and an era when Chelsea's, I don't know what the years will be, but you had like Reece James, Mason Mount, Eddie Nketiah, and you said Conor Gallagher as you was going up the years, yeah?
Yeah, I remember we went to a tournament in Beerbeck. We won it, and we had the team. It was me, Mason Mount, Reece James, Trevor Chalobah, Mark Gurhey, Conor Gallagher.
That's 6 England players.
Eddie Nketiah. So it's honestly, the team we had then was frightening. At that age, you never know what you're going to go on to do, but for a team then, the way we used to play, it was scary.
Did you batter teams?
Yeah, we used to batter tournaments, batter teams.
Letting you go at 14, how was that, having been there since the age of 8?
It was heartbreaking, honestly. I couldn't imagine. It's one of the worst things I've had to go through as a 14-year-old. I just broke down, like, I was gutted. But then that night I went and trained with Fulham, and then like the night after I went and trained with West Ham. So like straight away I just moved on from it.
That's heartbreaking. We've all had disappointments in our career at various levels, but at 14, I mean, do you think that's shaped you as a person?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I've always had to work for something, you know. Like, I've never had it just given to me on a plate. I've come across loads of players already, like even when I was 14, 15, who had everything on the table in front of them, but I've never had that. I've always had something to work for and work towards. So when I got released, the only job I wanted to do when I was older was to become a footballer, whatever level that was. But I just wanted to put my mind to, I need to get back to a club. I don't want to fall out of football. I don't want to go back to school. Like, I want to push on, get a scholarship, and then, you know, push on to a pro contract.
You say going back to school, because I think the new system now, a lot of the lads, when they get to 14, don't they sort of have to change schools and go work within now?
Yes, I done that, but I mean, in terms of like, I didn't want to just...
commitment at that age to finish, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's massive, because obviously Chelsea was all I ever knew up until 14, 10 minutes from my house. And then obviously I had the decision of whether to sign for Fulham, which is 5 minutes from my house, or move into a digs with West Ham. And in the end, my decision was West Ham, and a completely new challenge, which meant moving away from home, mum and dad at 14, new school, new friends. So it was a massive decision. What made you
go with West Ham?
There was the obvious, like the pathway of West Ham, like players like yourself, people coming through. There was always that, if you're good enough, you're going to get given a chance here. But also, like I said, the team, when I joined at 14, was the best in the country. Like, so strong, full of players that were just unbelievable. And I thought, I want a bit of that. Like, I want to sign. And that's what kind of made my decision in the end. And it was tough. The first 2 years when I had to move away from home, it was horrible. I was proper homesick, missed home proper. Thought about moving back home and having to travel in every day. Loads of different things. But as I got older, and obviously as things steadied out, it just...
How often did you get back in them days? Because people don't know about the commitments you have to make. Back home to your mum and your dad, brother, sister.
Well, some of the lads would hardly ever go home, but I always wanted to go home on a Sunday after a game. I'd make sure my dad drove me home, and then on Monday I'd get the train from Kingston back up to Romford, and then get on the bus to school, which is up the road. But Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday, I was in the digs. So FaceTime or whatever, phone calls with mum and dad. But people don't realise, like, you know what I mean? Like you said there, like the stuff you have to go through as well.
I know.
It's really tough.
But it all must have been worthwhile the day you made your debut at West Ham.
Yeah, it was like I'd been on the bench since like December time. I remember going away, my first Christmas Boxing Day away at Swansea.
Yeah.
Going to like Sunderland away, like all these different games, and I hadn't got on. Hadn't got on, and I was thinking, oh, please, just give me some minutes. And then I remember Burnley, he's called me to warm up, and then I've managed to get on the pitch. And then it's like you said, it's like that feeling of just coming on, and for the first time, it's a feeling you'll never get ever again.
How long did it take you, do you think, until you felt yourself established in the early days at West Ham?
Yeah, to be fair, I don't know, like, obviously made my debut, the season ended, and then we come back, and then we played Man United on the opening day, and we lost 4-0, but I come on after 60 minutes, and I remember this is my second game in the Premier League. I was thinking, wow, like, this is it, like, I loved it. And then I started at Southampton, and then I played at Newcastle, started again, and I give the ball away, they scored and got dragged at half-time. So, like, straight away, like, I'm having to deal with setbacks straight away. Like, you're on the biggest stage, making mistakes.
Yeah.
How are you going to come back from it? How are you going to cope? Like, all these different things. But I've had so many setbacks and mistakes whilst giving the ball away or pulling someone down for a penalty. It's all part of the learning process. Like, it makes you learn so much as a player. And
what's your process for dealing with that then?
To be honest, I feel like a lot of people would cave, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, fourth game in Premier League, you give the ball away, Newcastle away, you score.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like that. I remember Joe Hart coming to put his arm around me. I got taken off at half-time, but then I thought, everyone makes mistakes. Like, you need to, like, you're not going to get better if you don't learn from it.
Yeah.
And obviously, you need to keep pushing. It's only your fourth game. And I think I played like 28 games that season. Moyes come in halfway through. I played centre-half under Moyes. And then obviously Pellegrini come in, and the rest is... I feel like at the end of that Moyesy period, before Pellegrini come in, was when I started to feel like proper established.
Obviously, Moyes' season was a little bit of a struggle, got the job done, Moyes done great. And then Pellegrini come in. What was your expectations around that?
I was nervous because obviously the type of manager he is and the name he is. The players we brought in that summer, we brought in Jack Wilshere, we brought in some other players at centre-half, so I'm kind of half thinking, like, I've just played a season here, where am I going to fit in? And I remember we started the season off Liverpool way, again, dragged at half-time, and then we played the next two games, I was left out the squad, and I remember going to Pellegrini and saying, look, I want to go on loan, and he looked at me and laughed.
Did he?
Yeah, he looked at me and laughed and went, you're going to play. And we'd lost 2 in a row, and then we played Everton away, and we won 3-1. I got man of the match, and then I played from the fourth game in until the end of the season. I didn't get taken off, played every game. And then that was when, like, I thought, you know what, why did I even ask? Like, I want to go on loan. Like, the manager obviously sees something he believed in. He just wanted to bed me in at the right time. And that was a pressure game at Everton, because obviously dragged at half-time in the first one, missed the next 2, and then I play in that one, and I feel like that game there made me, really.
Your first goal against Arsenal, the iconic knee slide. How's that?
Yeah, you know what a knee slide's like. It's every kid's dream. I've gone a whole season without not scoring. All the lads were on me, you're shooting, you need to start scoring some goals. So when the ball got set back to me and I put it in, it was like, you could feel the relief of the fans as well. Like, the fans, it was like a louder cheer than like a usual cheer would be. It was so special.
The Pellegrini era, you know, it didn't end how it should have ended. David Moyes come in. Now you're an established player. Was it a different conversation with him as he come through the door? Did he treat you different? Treated me different, 100%. I think because I was a centre, I played in the back three when he was first there, and I was a kid. I was 18, and then when he come back, I was like 20. And obviously I'd improved a lot. And me and Nobes were only like his 2 midfielders at the time before we brought in Thomas. So he kind of pulled us in and was like, look, we need you two. Like, you two have got a good relationship on the pitch. Like, you're going to be integral to this team. And we remember we played, and like literally was flying. And like literally my relationship, just from the moment he come back in, just went from strength to strength, really. Like you said, you got into the team playing within a back three, and now you're fully established as a midfielder. Is that your natural position, is where you want to play? And was there anything you found difficult, or was it you felt at home straight away?
No, it's obviously a complete different game, because centre-half, everything's in front of you. Midfield, everything's, you know, around you. Yeah. It's a totally different game. Technically, at the start, I knew I was good enough to play in midfield, but probably awareness-wise, I had a lot to improve on. Going from centre-back into the middle, and how Pellegrini wanted to play, especially as well. But I grew into that role. At the start, I wouldn't say I was shaky, but I was steady, and I just wanted to do the right things. And you know, get through the game, like doing the basics well, to a good standard. And then as my confidence grew and, you know, it's, like you said, established myself more and more, that's when my confidence, you know, I started driving the ball forwards, turning, running past people, playing little passes through the lines. Like, I think took me maybe a year and a bit to just keep gaining that confidence. Now I'd say my confidence is as high as anything when I play in the field. Like, I always go into games thinking that, you know, I'm going to be one of the best players on the pitch, that I'm going to, you know, get the ball, do what I need to do and, you know, try to be the best player.
Oh, you can definitely see that. Well, can I take you back to 2020 for a second? Nobody wants to go back for 2020. What happened? West Ham was sort of struggling and then COVID hit and it shut down. And it's hard now to look back here and think, you know, how was that like? I was covering the games and it was eerie watching it. But West Ham, it seemed, actually benefited.
I think the one key thing about us during that period is we obviously had so long off, but as a group of players, we got ourselves so fit, like super fit. We was getting sent like usually you could take time off, like you're at home, there's no Premier League games, but the lads were being sent stuff, and honestly, the lads come back like fitter than I've ever seen before. When we come back, we was flying. We obviously stayed up, and then the season after, we just went to another level.
The next season, finished 6th, nominated for Young Player of the Year, record-breaking points tally. It talks to me about that particular team, and also Jesse Lingard come in as well. How much of a lift was that?
Yeah, that team was obviously one of the best I played in. Because what we were doing on the pitch, a lot of that come from how we was together off the pitch.
Right.
Like, this environment we had built here, in terms of the lads that were here, all the English lads, even the foreign lads, everyone had brought into it. Like, I couldn't tell you, like, it was an enjoyable place to come. Like, like that season you'd come in, it's still like that now, but the banter would be flying at breakfast. All the other lads from other countries would be sat having banter. That's rare, like, you know what I mean? Usually you're sat with people from your own country, like, you're speaking your own language. Everyone would sit together, would go on team nights out for food. Like, we literally just bonded so well.
Yeah.
And we'd literally do anything for each other. And on the pitch, you could see it was confidence.
Yeah.
Like, I think any team that was coming to our stadium knew they was in for a game. When we went away to teams, we always knew that we had a chance of winning. It was just if we could score the goals. And obviously Mickey was flying. Like you said, Jesse come in. He scored, 11 goals.
Mate, it was just ridiculous, that form, wasn't it?
Yeah, that. I think we finished 3 points off the Champions League that year.
Yeah.
And we was gutted. Like, we messed up one of the games at home towards the end. But that season we had was so special. The team we had was, incredible. We knew we had something special in that changing room and on the pitch. It was just going out there and doing it, and we did. And obviously the final, like I said, there's football, things happen, but the way and the journey that we had, it was like, it was special.
Last season, Dec, probably the most fun season, I think, for majority of West Ham fans. From the start of the season, did you foresee something like that happening?
Yeah. It was after the start. We'd beat Newcastle away first game. Yeah. And then I think we beat Leicester at home. And you could just feel like the way we was playing, the confidence, the energy we had, we was like, this is going to be a good season. Yeah. Like, we went to Leeds away, we went 1-0 down, we won 2-1, we scored last minute. And it was just something that was building. And then obviously the Europa League come, and then that just, in terms of confidence-wise, first time obviously in Europe for loads of the lads, it just took us to new levels. Yeah, playing at that level was just like you was having it off. Everyone, we've been written off by everyone. Like, I remember we trained outside. We'd got through the group, we was training. The draw come through, and Stuart Pearce come out and said, "Seville, we've got Seville." And everyone, we was asking the Spanish lads, "What's Seville like?" And they was all like, "They're a good team." Yeah. And it was like, "Oh, for God's sake." Yeah. Went to Seville, we should have been 1-0 up. We lost the game 1-0, but we played and we competed so well. And then when we come back to our stadium, you could just tell, like, that type of team that Seville was, I don't think they'd been put in an environment like that before. Like, the lads were just on them. Like, just the fans were on it, the manager was on it on the side. Like everyone just had this fire in their stomach to go out there, and obviously won that game. And the momentum then just built. We was like, you know what, bring anyone on. Then we had Leon, obviously. And then when it got to the Final Four, genuinely in my mind, we was the best team left in it. Yes. We was the best team left in it. And I feel like, obviously, red cards change games as football. You can't change that. But I feel like if that red card against Frankfurt wouldn't have happened in that second leg, we would have won that game. and we would have gone on to win the tournament 100%. But the whole experience of it, like, it will live with me forever. Just, we used to come back from places like Vienna and we'd have to stay back in Stratford, and like the loads of, like, we'd get back at like 1 a.m, we'd be Deliveroo eating McDonald's, like me, Nobes, Cress, like we just won a game, and it's like, this is unreal, like it just felt so special. And then like the next day we'd come in, have breakfast, we'd have a laugh. It was just like spending the time away, even though we was away a lot, you know, it was really, really special. Like I look back at it now all the time, we talk about it, like we'd go back to them days tomorrow. Like, it's sad in a way, because you're not going to experience that again with the players we obviously had there at the time, but it'll come again.
I think you and a group of players and a manager have made a whole generation of West Ham fans believe. Euro 2020, you played in 21. Just talk to me about playing in and what it was like in that atmosphere.
Oh, wow, it was incredible. We knew we had something special in that changing room and on the pitch. It was just going out there and doing it, and we did. And obviously the final, like I said, there's football, things happen, but the way and the journey that we had, it was like, it was special. So
the final comes, Italy, and you are playing outstanding. I was surprised when you got taken off. You was playing at such a high level. Was you feeling good in the game? Was you?
That was. So we obviously had that final, and obviously what I was in terms of driving with the ball, running past the Italian players. I took that into next season as well. The season after with West Ham, I just pushed that on as well. That final gave me the confidence for the season after, 100%. I remember, like, first half, I don't know, I just felt in my mind, I'm going to go out there and have it. Like, this is the final. Like, what have you got to lose? And I was probably doing things with a football I've never done, but I've got it, you know what I mean? Like you said, second half, we was kind of under the cosh, the formations. Like, we had a 5 at the back, they had a 4, they had an extra man in midfield, so it was hard to push up the pitch. Loads of different things played into account. Maybe he thought that, you know, I looked tired maybe with all the running we was doing. It's a decision at the end of the day. Like, as a player, I played in every game. I'd come off that pitch at 1-1, you know, I had my head held high, I had full confidence we was going to go on to win. You know, like, if we go on to win it, the question's not even asked. So it's a decision at the end of the day. You can get subbed, you cannot get subbed sometimes. It's just one of them things. But I was gutted when I come off, but I was happy with the way I played.
Qatar coming up, Dec. First of all, what's your expectations of it? A Winter World's new for everyone. What are you thinking?
Yeah, obviously it's different. Like, you usually associate a World Cup with the summer. It's just going to be an odd one, November to December, but mindset's still in the same place. You know, World Cup, it's the biggest stage in football. Us as players know that. We got to the semis last time. You know, we need to go one step further this time, like we did in the Euros. But it's about time we won something now. You know, like we've got the squad. We've got, you know, players from City win stuff year in, a year. I know how to win stuff. Liverpool, obviously Man United, the history over the years. Chelsea, top players, players playing Champions League. Like, we've got players that are playing high pressure games, high level games. So we know as a group of lads what we're capable of. But it's just that, you know, doing it on the day in a tournament. You know, and we've done that the last 2, but we need to go one step further this time.
With every guest, we do a quick fire questions. If you could play a round of golf with 3 people from any walk of life, who would it be?
Tiger, I'd go Tom Brady, because I know he likes his golf as well, and I love my NFL. Obviously, he's one of the best ever. And I want to go Michael Jordan, because I know he loves his golf as well, and apparently he's a massive better, so I wouldn't have to bet with him, but I'd love a round with him.
Don't bet with him, mate. I've heard some
That's
rumors.
A good free, that.
That is a good. What one moment of your career would you like to go back and relive so far?
There's 2, probably either the first goal against Arsenal, like just to score that first goal again and celebrate, but also that Germany game, like, that always sticks for me in the Euros, just because of the way we done it. We wasn't the underdogs in a way. And
it's a massive game.
Massive game, and also how it was after, like, all the lads singing Sweet Caroline in front of our families. Like, we hadn't been able to see our families for like 6 weeks. And, like, seeing them all in front, the whole stadium singing, just like them experiences. You walk off the pitch, your face is just like, you can't stop smiling. Like, one of them moments, 2 of them, I would love to live.
Incredible. If you could play alongside anyone in your career, who would it be?
I'm gonna go Stevie G.
Good shout.
Yeah, I feel like just how obviously him and Lamps, they're always compared. Like, I could say Lamps as well. Like, I adore Lamps as a player, but like, just Stevie G, I don't know, there's just something about him. He's like, the way he's on the pitch, he just turns into like an animal. I feel like we'd complement each other well. obviously he can just do everything. He can run into the box, he can tackle, he can pass, he can dictate play. Like, I feel like to play with him and see how he plays would be special.
What's the weirdest superstition you've seen in football?
We don't really have a superstitious group, or with England, really. Like, for me, sometimes I always eat the same pre-match and things like that because it's in my head. Like, I play well eating that type of food before games, so it's like I'm not going to change that in case I have one. You know what I mean?
All footballers are like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like superstitions. I know JT was mad superstitious, wasn't he? But for me, we don't really have a superstitious group here. No. Or England, I don't think anyway.
Stuart Pearce, right? I played with him at West Ham. He used to get an egg timer, which is what he used for cooking, and he used to have a routine before every game. Like, he'd be like, I don't know, fold his socks up on that minute, stretch his groin on this minute, do something, go to the toilet on this minute. He was like that. And it all culminated till the game kicked off at 3:25. And my pal, every time he turned away, kept pushing it forward a minute. So he's thinking it's like, it's only about 2 o'clock, and he thinks it's 2:30. So he's like screaming at the door to lads to come out, and lads are going, what are you doing, Pierce? He went, mate, I've never been so scared in my life. Yeah. But yeah, so that's probably the weirdest one for me.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's not a big one. There's not really big suspicion. Nah, there's not really, nah.
You're probably a lot more sensible than we were. Anyway, Dec, it's been a pleasure.
Loved it, mate.
Always nice chatting with you.
BT Sport Pods.